morning. I am out in my garden this morning. It is, let me check, 9:37 in the morning. And it is August. It is August 23rd and it is 52 degrees in my garden. So that's why I have a sweatshirt on. And most Pacific Northwesterners, including me, love mornings like this. We love days like this. Get a break from the heat in the middle of August. And it also turns out to be a perfect day and a perfect reason to talk about growing heat-loving peppers in the Pacific Northwest. So peppers love heat, and usually this year has been a little bit unusual, but usually that is not a resource that we have in abundance. So for many years, I've tried growing peppers here with very limited success. I can usually get a handful of cayenne to ripen, which is fine. I only use it as a spice, so I really don't need more than 10 or 15 peppers. But growing sweet peppers was so frustrating. I love sweet peppers, and I have tried to grow bell peppers, multiple different varieties, because that's what I bought at the grocery store. That's what I ate. And after several years of frustration, I decided to think a little bit more about it. And I was buying peppers at the farmer's market to freeze through the winter. Noticed that nobody was selling ripe bell peppers. In fact, nobody was selling bell peppers at all. And so I started asking about varieties, and I kept hearing Italian sweet come up over and over. And this is what a ripe Italian sweet looks like. And I also would see small peppers. An Italian sweet can be quite large, but they always are this shape. They're not like a bell pepper shape. Smaller peppers. And so I also decided to grow this year some orange sweeties. I also did some more reading and research about how to grow peppers in the Pacific Northwest. So I consulted my favorite book on growing, which I have not read all of. It is Growing Vegetables West of the Cascades by Steve Solomon. This is not the newest edition, but it's the one I have. So I have not bought the newest edition, but that helped me realize that I was doing a couple things wrong, not the least of which was growing the wrong variety, which I had already come to the conclusion through looking at the farmers markets. So a couple of other things that I was doing wrong that I changed this year are that I started my peppers at the same time that I had before, in late February. I potted them up, and I did not transplant them out or harden them off at the same time that I had tomatoes, which is what I had always done before. The additional time in the greenhouse and that additional heat and the additional time so that night temperatures get up above 50 degrees reliably, giving them that additional time in the greenhouse was really beneficial to help them put on more green growth. The other thing that I was doing wrong was the spacing. Hello, puppies. Can you go wrestle somewhere else? Thanks. That I was giving them the same amount of space that I would a tomato plant. So about 18 inches. And they just weren't getting big enough to hold hands, which is what pepper gardeners like to say. Oh, peppers like to hold hands. They want to touch each other. Hold on. Okay, the dogs are in the house. There are no more airplanes flying low in the sky. That was crazy. There were 3 little airplanes flying right around our property. Anyway, peppers holding hands. When I planted them out, I did give them a an organic, well-balanced fertilizer. And then I did fertilize them just one more time. They were planted directly into compost, just like everything else I grow. And I did fertilize them one more time. If you'll remember from some of my garden tours, that's when my dogs did the damage to the pepper plants because they wanted that fertilizer. Still working on finding a solution to it. They just dug up a couple of my brassica seedlings for the same reason. So the peppers now have the little fencing around them. I did also give them some support. Even with that stress, the peppers are just loaded with fruit. Each pepper plant has 10, 12, 15 peppers on it. Especially the orange sweeties are just covered with the small fruit, and the Italian sweets don't have as many, but the fruit is big. And they are ripening. They are turning red and orange, and this is the first time that I am successfully harvesting ripe peppers in a significant quantity. I also grew more pepper plants. I don't know if I was expecting them to produce like a tomato, or probably I just really hadn't thought about it. But in order to get significant quantities of peppers, I needed more pepper plants, which is fine because if you plant them closer together, you can get more into a bed. So in my 2 beds, which are about 2.5 feet by 6 feet, I have right around 30 pepper plants. Maybe a few more than that, because I think there are 18 plants, either 16 or 18 plants per bed. So, but somewhere right around 30. So I needed to grow more pepper plants in a different variety. I needed to not put them out so late. Basically, I was doing it completely wrong. But I got to a place where I am producing peppers. They are delicious. I am delighted by them and happy with the success I'm having. I will probably increase the number of pepper plants I grow again, depending on how much ripe fruit that I harvest. I am not a fan of green peppers. I am certain that I will have green peppers left over at the end of the season. I'm not sure what I'll do with them. I will try to find something to do with them that I'm okay with, maybe roasting them. Yes, that is how, in the perpetual experiment of gardening, I finally learned enough about growing peppers to be successful at it in the Willamette Valley. So I hope this is helpful. If you are somewhere else in the Pacific Northwest, Steve Solomon's book goes into detail about what and how to grow peppers north of Longview, and south of, like further south, you can grow more varieties further south than I am, near Portland. And it's really helpful. I highly recommend it for if you're wanting to increase your yield on pepper production. All right, good luck growing peppers, and I will talk to you next time.